What's up, my dudes? It is Rick Guzman back with Cigar Night. Man, oh man, it feels so good to be back doing this. I have been on this hiatus. I've been busy and with COVID, and life just gets busy. It does. Life gets so crazy at times, and this was part of it. If you follow the Cigar Night page on Instagram, you know that I was gone, and for the last 32 weeks. I was off following my dream of finally becoming a police officer. For the last 32 weeks, I was in the police academy. So that came about back in January. Been busy doing that. Didn't really have much time. So I had to take a step back from the podcast to focus on that. And then COVID hit. So when I finally got some time in the academy, COVID hit and it just slowed everything down. And, with the 6 feet rule and self-distancing and all that, it was hard to try to get podcasts going, and there was so many things that just came at once, and 2020 has sucked. I mean, let's be honest, 2020 has been probably the worst year so far on Earth, and it's been sucky, to say the least, but Cigar Night is back, at least, and that is a good thing. That is a positive for me, because I've been missing this so much. I've been missing talking to people. I have so many friends that I've been wanting to get on this podcast. And one step at a time, things are slowly getting better with COVID. And so hopefully soon I will have friends on here and getting more episodes up, back to doing a weekly episode. But I really wanted to have someone here today with me. It's going to be a solo episode today. This is kind of a what's next, what's to come, what have I done in the last 32 weeks, I believe it's been about 8 months since I've last posted an episode. So it's been a while. And, like I said, I've been wanting to have someone on this podcast. I would love to have someone from my class that I graduated in the academy with, just to talk about our experience. But with, different shifts and COVID, and it's just been, there's been some time differences. And so it was hard to get someone. But the next episode, I can guarantee that there will be someone here. But for right now, man, dude, the police academy, It was a struggle, man. I'm not gonna lie. The police academy I went to, and for the department that I work for, it is recognized throughout the country of the United States that it's one of the hardest police academies. I mean, we are in the top 5 best police departments in the country. So I want to get into kind of what's going around the country right now and my take on that. But before that, I kind of just want to talk about the process of the police academy. And if anybody is thinking about joining the police department, thinking about doing some sort of academy, I'm going to give a little insight into it as far as what I did to prepare. The police academy, man, no joke. It's seriously no joke. I had some classmates that were prior military, and so they kind of understood the mind games that were going on. But for me, I wasn't prior military, so I was going into this, boot camp per se, kind of blind. But I've heard stories. I kind of knew how to prepare. And it was a struggle, man. I mean, I would wake up about 4:00 in the morning, Monday through Friday. And, I got used to that. I got used to waking up early, but I mean, the first 2 hours of the day were exercising, 5-mile runs, 3-mile runs, log runs, carrying telephone poles for 3 miles. What else? The cadet killers that we call it, carrying 45-pound plates around the track. What else do we do? Burpees every time they blew a whistle on the minute around the track, and you had to do 6 laps, something like that. Crazy workouts I've never heard of before. And let me tell you, they are a mind game. It is about where is your head at, at that moment, at that exact moment. What do you want, and what are you doing this for? And I saw a lot of classmates, quit. The first day, there was 3 people in my class that quit, and I was right next to one of them, and he got up and he said, I can't do this. And it sucks if your mind wasn't at the right place. It's going to take the better of you. And, not just police academy, but life itself. If your mind, and not to say that your mind's weak, but if you don't have that mentality that I can get through this, and I need to get through this, or I need to push this to get to where I want to be, it's going to be a struggle. no matter what you do. And so you got to have that mentality going through it. And it was a mind game. I will say that the worst workout that I did was probably the log runs, carrying a log, which is basically a telephone pole cut smaller. And we were there was 3 teams. There was probably about 7 of us per team, and maybe a little bit more. And or there was 4 teams, I don't know. But anyways, there's about 7 of us per team, and that sucked. I mean, that sucked. I don't think if we would have done another log run, I don't know if I could have done one. I honestly, not saying I would have quit on the spot, but it would have sucked. It would have sucked. I mean, to this day, I hate those logs. And that was one of the worst days I experienced in the police academy. We also had a day called Hell Day, and basically Hell Day, it's been tradition. I mean, for years and years and years, Hell Day, it's something you look forward to. It's a pass the torch. It's the right to earn this badge. Basically, Hell Day is your last day of getting smoked, or your last day of PT, basically, and it's just a whole day of sucking, man. We get there bright and early, and we start working out, and they call us to box, and then you PT for the whole day until lunch, and then after lunch comes, oh yes, the gas chamber, the CS gas. Man, oh man. So, like I said, I wasn't prior military, so I didn't get CS gas before. But those who have done it before, they were freaking out. And there was a guy in front of me who said, I'm going to freak out in there. He's like, I already know I'm going to freak out. And so I was like, man, it's going to suck. I was actually really nervous for the gas. After you get gassed, you get pepper sprayed. Now, there's a difference between pepper spray and then what we did. Pepper spray is like, things you can buy at Academy, sports and outdoors. But OC spray is like higher than that, right? Like, think of like salsa, okay? Pepper spray is like your mild, or let's go Wingstop, pepper spray is like your habanero stuff, It's hot, but, it's doable. But then, your OC spray is like your atomic. It is the worst of the worst. And it's not just a little spray above the eyebrows. I mean, they paint your face in this. It is like, it's not a straight line. This was a spray where you look at my video and my whole face is orange. And it burned, and it's the worst pain. The devil's piss, as they called it. And it literally felt like your face is on fire. But before OC spray, we did gas. And I was nervous for the gas. And man, that CS gas, we went in there without a mask. We had to do it a couple times. In the first round, you don't have a mask on. And dude, so it felt like I went in there, I held my breath before I go in the door. And you got to do one rotation around the room, basically. And so I go in there, I hold my breath beforehand. And I'm like, okay, all right, like I can do this. I'm close. Like I'm about halfway through. Your eyes are closed. I mean, you don't even want to smell it. It smelled like when you crack fireworks, and that after smell that's there from the fireworks, that's what it smelled like. But once you're inside the room, I mean, you don't even want to breathe. You don't want to open your eyes. Your skin's burning. And mind you, the rotation probably took, I don't know, we were probably in there for 15 seconds about. And if you look in the video, we all come out in those 15 seconds and we are like choking and gagging and snot's flying out and my eyes are burning. And so I made it about halfway through the room and I couldn't hold my breath anymore. And you think 15 seconds, like you can hold your breath 15 seconds. Yeah, but your nerves are pounding, man. Like your heart is coming out of your chest. You're already like anxiety's kicking in and you're walking. It's not that easy to hold your breath. I mean, there's some people who did it, but I couldn't do it. I made it about halfway through the room and I took a breath. And that first breath wasn't too bad. I was like, okay, I think I got this. I think I'm good. But then that took the second little breath. And I'm not even talking breathing in, right? I'm talking about like just a sip of air. And it sucks because if you hold your breath, what's the first thing you do when you breathe? Right, you breathe in this big gasp of air. So you're it's kind of a gamble. If you're gonna hold your breath, you got to commit. And I didn't commit to it for the long run. So I started breathing, and it felt like smoke coming in my mouth, down my throat. Like I could physically feel the smoke or whatever, the gas, come in my mouth, go down my throat, and then it hit my lungs. And jeez Louise, man, it felt like someone punctured my lungs. Like literally like someone stabbed you from the inside, and then you just can't breathe. You're choking, but they're choking, right? But the more you're choking, the more gas gets in your mouth. And so you're just dying of inside, like you're dying from the inside. And the CS gas, basically what it does, it's crystallizing the water inside you, right? So if you're in there too long, like you probably could die, honestly. And it sucks, man. It freaking sucks, dude. So I'm gagging, I'm breathing, I'm choking. I can't even breathe, but I'm choking. And oh man, I come out and I fall to my knees, gasping for air, and someone picks me up and they're like, "You lost your mind in there." And I'm like, "I don't care." Like, oh, I'm dying. It sucked. It was horrible. But the good thing about CS gas is that as soon as you take oxygen, you're fine. Like you get a breath of fresh air and you're good. Like you're good to go. Maybe about a minute or two of fresh air and it goes away. I burped a lot. It's funny how your body reacts to it. I was burping a lot to get that gas out of you. Out of my system, and then we went again with gas masks on, and with the gas mask, you literally are fine. Your skin burns a little bit. If at that point with the gas mask, it feels like you have a really bad sunburn. That's kind of what it feels like. So the gas sucked, right? And in my mind, I was more worried about the gas, but I was even more worried because everyone says the OC spray sucks even more. And I'm like, bro, the gas sucked. Like, I felt like I was about to die, literally. And then they're saying the OC spray is worse. I was like, nah, man. Like, nah. Like, then the nerves start kicking in for the OC spray. I was like, bro, no way. Like, no. Like, dude, I'm like, bro, this is going to suck even worse. And this is in my head, right? And, like, here's the sucky part of it. So we make it to the OC spray. We just get gassed, right? We're walking to the field to get pepper sprayed, OC sprayed. And they put us around the corner so we can't see people, but they put us right by the AC. So when people get pepper sprayed, it blows, and so we smell it, right? Because the AC is sucking it in and it's blowing it out at the fan and whatever. So we're smelling it. And I was kind of like, we were going in twos, and I was like, I don't know, the 10th to go, maybe like the 15th, I don't know. And so we're just kind of waiting there. And like the first person who went started screaming and like cussing and like screaming like he was dying, and that just put us all in more anxiety. We're like, come on, bro. Like, come on. And then we smell it, and it's very peppery. I mean, it smells like pepper. And so you're kind of choking on it, like, you know, when your Mexican mom is cooking and making salsa, and like the house smells like chile, and like you're like coughing. That's kind of what it was. And so I was like, damn. So we're next, man. Like, our backs turn and they call us, Guzman, go. And I was like, damn, here we go. And so I run the corner, and they're like, all right, you're gonna stand here, you're gonna hit the bag a few times. I'm like, all right. And they lift, the instructor lifts his left hand, and he's like, look at my hand, because your eyes are open, right? They want your eyes to be open. And OC, psh, you get sprayed. And like I said, man, my face is painted orange, right? For me, though, it didn't kick in right away. For some people, like at that, it was instant. As soon as they get sprayed, they start screaming in pain. For me, it took about 10 seconds to kick in. And so I lifted I got sprayed. I looked for the baton. I hit the bag a few times. And then I turned around, and then it hit. And when it hit, man. Like, I felt a little, I guess it was pepper, but it was a little ball, like of sand, think of it. It was like right above my eyelid. And I just felt that little piece of pepper, I guess. I felt it like roll into my eye. And that's where shit hit the fan. I mean, I started screaming in pain, like, oh, fuck, like, oh, shit, like, it's burning, like, oh, I'm on fire, my face is on fire. And then water activates it, but what's the first thing they do? They go take you to a hose to hit your face with water. So it's activating even more, and so you're burning. And then the worst part of it is your brain is playing these games on you to where you're drowning. Like, you can't breathe, right? And then you're getting water poured on your face. And so now you're like drowning, but you're not drowning, but you're thinking you're drowning. And so it's this mixture of fire on your face plus drowning. And you're just like, literally I was getting water poured on my face. And I'm like, well, I can't breathe, bro. Like, I can't breathe. Like, whoa, I'm drowning. And they're like, you're not drowning. You're just like, you're fine. Like, you're talking. And I'm like, no, bro, I'm drowning. Like, I'm drowning. I can't breathe. Like, I can't breathe because your nose is plugged. And then like your mouth is like, you think you're dying. Like, I don't know how the brain works in that circumstance, but I can tell you that it sucked. it felt like, man. So here's the thing about it is water activates it and stuff. And so the way that we did it was we set up some fans outside so we can just go to the fans and like let the fan hit, because the only way to get rid of the peppers, the OC spray, is to let it dry, right? And so people go in front of the fans, but here's the issue with the fans is that you get relied on the fan. So as soon as you step away from a fan, it starts to burn again, and it's even worse, I think. So really the best thing is to just let it dry, like let the natural wind hit it, just let it dry out, right? And so I will say that I was probably one of the first, even though I went like in the middle of my class, I will say I was probably one of the first that could open his eyes. And the reason is, I think, is because I didn't freaking go to a fan. I just took it like a champ and just walked around, sat. Okay, I didn't sit right away. So if you look in my class video, there's a dude in the back, far away from everybody else, with his shirt off, walking around, screaming in pain, holding his head. That was me. That was me running back and forth. I wasn't even running. I was just walking back and forth, pissed off at the world, saying like, what do I do? Why did I do this? Oh, this blows. This sucks so much. It sucked, man. It sucked. It just sucked. And you can't do anything about it. That's the sucky part, right? And so you let it dry, and the only way it gets better is to open your eyes. But you can't open your eyes. They're like sealed shut. So you literally grab your fingers and lift your eyes open, literally. And so I started doing that little by little, start doing that. And then finally, my eyes could open. I could get wind inside of them. And once your eyes open, after like 40 minutes, after 40 minutes of in pain, your eyes can finally open somewhat. And then it gets a little bit better. And then it feels like just a really bad sunburn on your face. That's kind of what it feels like, after 40 minutes of agonizing pain. Then it feels like a really bad sunburn. And then, they said keep your underwear on because when you shower, it's going to come down. So I had this technique where I kept my underwear on, but I had this technique where I like kind of lean forward in the shower head and I just let it kind of hit my face. I used Dawn soap as shampoo, as face. I don't know if you're supposed to use Dawn, but whatever, I used it. And I used that to clean my face, to open my pores. And you want to shower with cold water because if you use warm water, it closes your pores and the oil stays inside. It's whatever. It was a sucky day. So anyways, Hell Day was probably one of the most testing days that you have at the academy. And then every police department has some sort of test like that. And it's kind of a passing of the torch, right? So like every officer you see within my department, you know that they did this. Like even the instructors, right? The instructors are part of my police department. They're not an outside agency. Like we're all within the same department, so even they know what we're going through, right? So it blows. I mean, it sucked. There was no way to put it. Like if you're gonna experience that day, it's gonna suck no matter what, and you just embrace the suck, right? The great thing about the academy, and I think this goes as well as with law enforcement throughout the country and military and all that, is I spent 32 weeks with the same people every day. And so I think by week 4, week 5, these people became family, right? With everything we endured, even right away, even the beginning of the academy to like the end of the academy, through Hell Day, through all the tests, through all the physical tests, through all the PT sessions, like everything we experienced, we all did it together. And in the end, you become a family. Like you are a family. And these are people that like I felt like I've known forever. We've done so much together. So it definitely became a bond, right? We were class 2020A, 2020 Alpha, and I can say that it's an honor to be a part of that class, right? Great class, great group of people, and all of us who made it, it wasn't easy, and we did it, and it was great. And it's kind of crazy about that because, if you listen to the podcast before, you know that I'm a theater person, right? Like I did theater in high school and I did theater in college. Like that was what I studied for the most part in college, was theater. I did acting, right? And so one of my biggest fears was that how can I compare theater to law enforcement? Like how can I compare these two things like in the academy and stuff? And to my knowledge, I actually did a lot. As far as plays, as far as what I enjoyed the most out of doing theater, as far as acting, for those of you who've done theater, who've done shows, there's a bond that you create with the people you do shows with, right? The actors, the technicians, everybody that is part of the show. You create this bond, right? You become this small family for however long the run is, however long rehearsal process are. You become part of this family, right? And I didn't know if I would experience that in the academy. Like, I really didn't. I didn't know if I would. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I continued theater so many years, was because of that bonding with people. And that's honestly one of my favorite things about theater. And that's one of the biggest things that I miss. And I'm not saying I won't go back to theater, but right now life is crazy. There's so much things going on. But one of the biggest things that I experienced was the academy. I got a new family, right? This class, my academy class, like, we're family now. Like, we are family. And it was that same experience that I got with people in theater, because, like I said, if you've done theater, whether you're a technician, whether you're an actor, a director, whatever, you know that you start seeing these people more than your own family, right? During rehearsals and shows and everything. And you start learning more about these people more than they even know about themselves, probably, or their best friends. I mean, because you're literally with these people every day for a crazy amount of hours. And that's how I became in the academy, right? Because, yes, the academy, it's like, what was it? It was like 7 to 5, 7 to 4, whatever kind of job. But we put in so many hours before, so many hours after work, coming in on weekends. Like, we did so much. We didn't do the normal hours, and you won't, right? And I related that to theater. Like, when are you ever, like, really out on time for rehearsals? Like, let's do it one more time. I don't know how many times I heard of that. And in the academy, it's like, all right, let's do it like one more time. And it's like, come on, guy, I've heard this like the last 10 years of my life. And so I felt some sort of connection there, the bond I created with people. And that was one of the biggest things. And to my surprise, that I got out of this is the unity that you got with the other individuals. And it's a great experience. I mean, I honestly can say, graduating the academy, or whenever we made another hump, it was the same feeling as closing a show, man. Like, that closing night, like, graduation was like closing night. It was like, bro, like, this is it. It's the last time. And for me, like, I don't know, there's a high percentage that I will never work with my classmates again. Some of them I'll work with, but for the most part, like, we're all going to go our own ways. And it's the same thing with theater, right? When a show closes, like, everyone's going to go their own way. Like, and it's kind of a sad feeling, because we did all this and then it's over. And it was a great feeling, a great experience. And for those, if anybody's thinking about doing something like that, man, I encourage it. One of the biggest reasons why I wanted to become a police officer, but one of the biggest reasons why right after college I joined the police academy was because I wanted structure. I wanted some sort of organization in my life. And I felt like, even though I kind of had it, I wanted structure. I wanted things to, like, make sense, and I just wanted structure. Like, I want someone to tell me what to do. And I didn't have that I didn't have a military experience, right? Like, I'm not prior military, so, like, I didn't experience boot camp. And a part of me always did. A part of me always wanted to experience that feeling of getting yelled at and getting rushed. And I don't know, I always wanted to, right? And so for this, it definitely filled that feeling. Like, I got everything out of it. Like, it was great. 32 weeks is 8 months. And you might think it's not a long time, but bro, it is a lot. It is a long time, 8 months. The standard usually is 6 months. My department does 8, and it's a long time. Like, it's a long time. And I guess we can transition to great segue with everything that's going on around the country. Man, there's so many things that I've heard in social media, and a lot of things I see is, well, law enforcement needs more training. 4 years of college. I need 8 years of school to become a doctor, but you can become a police officer in 6 months or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, it's crazy when you think about it like that. You're absolutely right. I would have loved more training. Maybe not necessarily in the academy, because I got tired of the academy. But would I love more training? Abso-freaking-lutely. We don't get enough training. Like, I get it. 6 months of an academy, 8 months in academy, it's not enough to prepare you to make you a great officer. It's not. It's honestly not. But that's all we get, you know? And with being a doctor, let's say, or getting your education, getting your degrees, man, like, I went through 4 years of college. And when I got out, you know, yes, I did something completely different than my degree. But talking to people, like, you get out of college and you got to find a job. And how do you get good at that job once you get it? By doing it, by working it. And it's kind of the same thing with police officers, right? Like, there's only so much we can learn until we put it to use, until we do it for real. But would I love more training? Absolutely. You know, 4 years of training, that's a long time. But if it's going to make me a better officer, absolutely. But here's the issue with more training. What do you need to train? Like, what do you need to get more training? What does it cost? It's money. It costs money, right? We want more training. I'll take it. More training? Absolutely. I'd love to. I want to be the best officer I can be. But it requires more money. And so taking money away from law enforcement, I don't know that's the right issue. I don't know that's the right thing, because I would love more training. You're absolutely right. Like, I would love more training. But you're taking money away from us. How are we supposed to train better, you know, with less money? Because everything takes money, like, in this world. Everything is money. And going with that, you know, defunding the police, man, it right now is a really bad time to be a police officer. And I've only been on a short time. I get that. But it is a really shitty time to be a police officer. When I was in the police academy, all this was starting, right? So the death of George Floyd was kind of the spark to everything, I would say. And I was in the police academy, and the day that happened, we got sat down as a class, and they showed us videos, and we had our chief talk to us, and we did discussions after discussions. I think that whole first half of the day, we sat down and talked about the issue, and it was disgusting what happened to George Floyd. Horrible. I mean, I don't know how else to say that. It was horrible, right? Because we're not trained to do that. We're not trained to put knee on the neck. That's not what we're trained for. Like, we don't train that. And so seeing that and seeing that no one else reacted to it, man, that pissed me off. And it pissed everyone off. It pissed the instructors off. I can guarantee you that all the instructors at the academy found that video disgusting. And that officer, unfortunately, I hate to say it to another officer, but he got what he deserved. Because you don't do that. No matter how pissed off you are at the world, you cannot. For what the charge was, for what George Floyd did, it was not necessary. So unnecessary. And that really pissed me off. Because you just don't do that, you know? Back in the 70s, 80s, that happened. Like, that did happen. I mean, look at Rodney King, right? Like, that crap happened. But we're in a new policing age, right? We got body cameras. We have Coban in our vehicles that record our cars. Like, everyone has a cell phone, right? Like, it's insane that you're always being watched. And even then, we're still doing these kind of things. We're still doing these mistakes. No. And so I have a lot of friends who ask me, like, man, you know, like, how are you going to deal with all this stuff? And I'm like, honestly, man, I don't know any different. Like, I'm starting the department, I'm starting my career as a police officer. From day one, I already have body cameras. Right? The whole time I'm training with the Coban, the whole academy, we're getting taught that everyone's always watching, that someone's always watching. And what is character? Like, how do you define character? I always was taught it's what you do when no one's looking. Well, even if you think no one's looking, someone's looking, right? So, I mean, it's not different for me. Like, since day one, I have a camera. So I don't know any better. The older officers, the older generation who for years did not have any cameras, and now all of a sudden they're being recorded, they're the ones that are like, wait, I don't like this. I don't mind it. I honestly don't care. I think it's a great thing that we have cameras. You know why? Because it gets me out of trouble. Because I know that I'll always try to do my best. I know that everything I do is the right thing. And so if someone tries to prove otherwise, hey, my camera is there. I'm recording. So let's see who's right. It's my word versus his word, but I got a camera. And honestly, there's a lot of officers that have been saved from their body cameras because of their body cameras, the people who have judged them wrong. It is a very shitty time to be a police officer. I'm not going to lie. I have friends who have unfriended me. I have unfriended friends like on Facebook and stuff like that. And let me tell you what draws the line with me, right? Because it's not about the BLM movement. Like, I think people are using their right to use their social media to voice their opinions, right? That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm with that 100%. You want change and you're trying to make it happen, that's cool. Protest, awesome. Violent protests, I don't know about that, man. Like destroying businesses, I'm not cool with that. And that's a different topic, but protesting, social media, posts, people tweeting and all that, hey man, that's awesome. We're using our platforms. That's something great about the social media age, is that we can, share things at an instant. From overnight, things are blow up. And that's awesome. People trying to use their right to voice their opinions. I'm with that. So it's not about the BLM movement and, Black Lives Matter and all lives matter and blue lives matter. Man, honestly, like, it's not about that for me. That I'm with whatever you want to do, or you want to raise your opinion, that's awesome. But what draws the line with me, and when I'm gonna unfriend you, because you can unfriend me for anything. Like everyone at this point knows I'm a police officer. Like all my friends do, right, on social media. And if they want to unfriend me, that's whatever. Like, hey, you do you, boo boo. Like, I'm still gonna go protect you. I'm still gonna go help you when you need me. That's not about that. That doesn't offend me. But what does offend me, what hurts me, what causes me to unfriend you on social media is when you share stuff police related negatively. So, for example, I had people who freaking were sharing posts about there was a post I saw that said a good cop is a dead cop. See a pig, kill a pig. And I was like, man, nah, that draws a line. Because that's me you're talking about. That's the rest of the people that I spent the last 32 weeks with. That's who you're talking about. And so that offends me. That bothers me. Right? Because I'm just trying to do my job to protect all the citizens of this city and anyone who needs help. I'm trying to protect those who can't protect themselves. And so you kind of saying that kind of hurts. That's now you're offending me. And what really drew the line for others was they started talking about officers who died in the line of duty, and they were posting their stories, and they would write, well, good, they deserve that. Excuse me? Like, no, they didn't. Like, they're just doing their job. Like, and they died in the line of duty protecting us, protecting everyone else in this country, in their city, however you want to look at it. And you're saying good? They deserve to die? I don't think so, man. No. That's because, again, I wear that uniform. That's me you're talking about. And that stings. So no, I'm unfriending you, because that's, when you say that, it's like you're saying it to me, right? And anyone who is an officer or in military, I'm sure you understand. It's no, like, I don't care. You're not talking about me directly. I get that. But this uniform, it's universal, right? So talking about them, it's the same thing as talking about me, honestly. And so that hurts. Talking negatively about law enforcement, that's where my line is drawn. And if I have you on social media and you start posting stuff like that, now I'm kind of out. If I see you, I'll say hi, but that's about it. I'm not gonna have you as a friend on social media, because I will say this, man. What's the first thing you see when you open up social media? Oh man, defund the police, and police suck, and I hate police, and bro, like, I saw that straight like for a whole week, I saw all that. And it's the media, it's the social media and everything. Like you yourself are getting brainwashed, seeing that over and over and over again, like on the news and all this. And so I was like, bro, like I felt sick about it because, like, again, when you say police, I think of me, I think of my city, I think of everyone I work with. And now I think like everyone hates us. I'm the bad guy. But then again, I know I'm not. I know I'm here for a good purpose, right? So when everything started going down, I was in the police academy when protests and the riots and all that was going on. And to be honest, it was a sucky feeling, but at the same time, it motivated me more. It motivated me to be the change because I want change. Like I said, man, I'm with it. You know, is there bad officers out there? Yeah, there is. Is there bad, I don't know, doctors out there? Yeah, there's some shady doctors out there. There's bad apples in everything, man. Everything. In any career, there's bad apples. In any race, there's bad apples. Anything. There's always the bad apples, right? Hell, even church, right? Even within religion, well, there's some bad things going on in there too. But that's just how it is. Like, that's just the life we live, unfortunately. There's bad apples in everything that put a bad name to whatever they work with or whatever race they are or whatever it is, you know. Those bad apples sum the good things that the people do. And so seeing everything in the media, it motivated me to be a change, to be the better person, to be that one person, to try to be the good, right? Try to be the change, try to help others, try to shine the light that, hey, not all officers are bad. Like, there's good people out there. And I'll tell you what, and I'll be completely honest with this, you know, we're at a point where the millennial age group, you know, they're starting to, for the most part, are of age and to become law enforcement and to become, senators or whatever, you know, something within politics and like I said, law enforcement. And so people who are coming of age and within the millennial group, I think when we get to that point to where all the older generation, when they retire, I think there'll be a change. I really do. I think there'll be another change, and I think it'll be for the good, because right now I think it's an old school of mind versus the new school of mind. And so, you know, when the older generation leaves, there's these new minds, there's this young blood, and I think that's a big issue, man. That's a huge issue. We need young blood. Wherever you look at, law enforcement, military, politics, I think is the big one. You need fresh blood, young blood. You need these new ideas, man. Like, people are still stuck in the old school of thinking. And so for me, being the age I am, being, you know, young and I guess still open-minded, being a law enforcement officer isn't bad. You know, like, I understand your situation. I understand you're struggling. How can I help you be better? Right? Like, that's huge on me. How can I help you be a better person? You know, and I think the big reasoning, the big way of how to make a change is just the way you talk to people. You know, I was always told when someone is yelling or screaming, it's because it's a cry for help, right? They're crying for help internally. They're trying to yell for help, but, you know, they don't know how to, so they start yelling at people and being really aggressive. But hey, like, when I show up, it's like, man, what's wrong? Fuck this, and I hate everybody. Hey, bro, relax. Man, I'm here because I care about you, bro. Dude, instant change. Like, bro, I'm here to listen to you. I'm here to care. I care about you. Like, I don't want you to hurt yourself. I don't want you to hurt anybody else. It's just the way you talk to people. You know, understand people. You go in there and you start pissing people off, and your attitude, man, the way you talk to people, you'll be surprised. The way you talk to people will change people's tones immediately. Right? I mean, that's just you talk to me good, I'm gonna talk to you good. You know, I will talk respect to you all day, every day. I hope that you show it back to me. Right? And I think that's where the issue is, right? When you stop showing respect to someone, things change. But I'll be respectful to you all day long, man. All I ask is you have that respect for me, and let's talk like adults. That's all I'm asking. And I just want to be that change, man. You know, that's a very important thing. But you know what, man? I'll be honest. There's an incident that occurred a few days ago, you know, maybe 2 days ago, and we had there was two LA county sheriffs, two LA county sheriffs that were shot in the line of duty. They were just sitting in their cars. I mean, just sitting in their cars, bro. Like, not doing anything, not arresting anybody, not fighting anybody, not even at a call. Like, I don't know what exactly they were doing. Maybe writing a report, whatever it was. They're just sitting in their cars, man. Two people, one in the driver's seat, one in the passenger seat. And some guy comes up through the passenger side window and starts shooting. And then he runs off. So both officers get shot multiple times. Right now they're alive. God bless them. You know, prayers out to them and their families. They're still alive. They're still fighting for their lives. But, I mean, they're in critical condition, right? But when I get this notification, I get this notification on my phone, you know, 2 LA county sheriffs shot. I start reading the details of it. You know, they're sitting in a car, you know, by a building. Someone comes up to them, shoots through a window. And I look to my right, and my partner is sitting right next to me. And then I notice we're sitting in a patrol vehicle in an empty parking lot, writing our report. Right? Like, what just happened in LA to those officers? I'm looking around, and it's me and my partner sitting in a car in an empty parking lot. Same exact thing. And I start thinking, this is us. Like, this is me right now. Like that hit. That one hurt. Because I'm starting to realize all you had to change was just the location. Like, I could go in the media, change the location, and it would have been us. And that's the realization that I had to have. That can happen. And I hate to say it, that it wouldn't happen in the city that I work for, in the department I work for, but I had there's an officer in our department that died that way. Sitting in his patrol vehicle, writing a report in front of headquarters. And some guy comes through the passenger side window and just shoots him. And he died. I wouldn't say it wouldn't happen, but it did. It did happen, and that's real. That's reality. And so that's just a big reason as to why, you know, I'm honestly trying to stay away from social media because it's starting to get to me. It's depressing. You know, as much as I try to support everyone, you know, seeing officers shot every day, seeing the negativity towards law enforcement, it gets to you. Especially being in that profession, man. Like, bro, am I the good guy? Like, yeah, I am. I'm doing my best to be the best person out there. But it's hard seeing negative all the time. Even on your off-duty days, even when you're off work. Dude, like, it gets to you. It messes with your head. I will say, though, that I've had so many people come up to me and say, hey, man, you know, I know you don't have a lot of friends, but, you know, we support you, and you know, God bless you. And, man, God bless you, man, because that's what I need. You know, you see an officer out there, I'm not saying buy him dinner, buy his lunch, but go up to their table and just say, hey, thank you. And I will guarantee you that it makes their day. I've been at a red light. I was at a red light. This has happened twice already. The person next to me asked me to roll down my window. And so I do. And they're like, hey, you know, what do they say? I know you don't have a lot of friends right now, but I support you. And I say, thank you. That made my day, man. Like, you don't have to understand how that makes your day. Just seeing an officer, hey, sir, thanks for what you're doing, you know. And I guarantee you that it motivates them to do their job even better. Right? Because having negative over negative over negative, it gets to you, man. And it gets to your head. And I will say that to an extent, I've kind of experienced that negativity where it went to my head, man. Like, no joke. And I mean, I can go on for days with this, you know. Mental health is a real thing. Mental health is so real. And in my short time on patrol, I've experienced so many mental health calls. It's insane. And the sucky part about it is there's not much we can do. Like, we get trained on how to deal with mental health people. Like, I get that, but I'm talking like where to take them, what to do with them. Like, yeah, I can take them to like the hospital, the special hospital to deal with mental health. But even then, once they get there, there's only so much they can do. And it's hard. It sucks seeing these people because there isn't a lot of help for mental health. And mental health is real. It's so real. But that's a topic for a different day. But what I wanted to say about mental health is, man, a few days. So here's my issue, and here's the issue that I had. And I wanted to share with you guys. So, law enforcement has been a thing that I've been wanting to do forever. For a long time. I mean, I would say, for the last 5 years, probably. This was something I wanted to do, right? But I wasn't old enough yet. I was a senior in high school when I joined the Explorers program for the police department. And so if you know what the Explorers program is, it's kind of like a fancy, not fancy, but like it's like an internship, basically, like a hands-on internship with the police department, sort of. But you do ride-alongs and stuff. But anyways, like I joined this program at senior year of high school, right? So I was involved. I knew since senior year that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to join law enforcement, right? This is a career I wanted to choose, right? But to get to that, well, I had to go to college first, right? So I went to college. So senior year of high school, I go straight to college, and I go to college because I know that I'm going to graduate. And when I graduate, I'm going to join the police department, and I'm going to do the academy. And the academy is supposed to be one of the hardest in the whole nations, right? So I got to prepare physically for it and mentally for it because this is what I'm going to do. And so I graduate high school. I go to college, and then my mentality is like, hey, I got to graduate college. This is my goal right now. I got to get to where I want to be and become an officer. I got to graduate college. So I did. I went through college, graduated college. And what did it happen right after college? Right to the police academy, just how I planned. Boom, police academy starts 1 month later. I'm in the police academy, right? Everything I ever worked for the last 5 years, it's now happening. Everything physically I prepared for, mentally, all that jazz. Boom, I'm in the police academy. I'm doing it. And then 8 months later, 32 weeks later, wait a minute. Everything I worked for the last 5 years, this goal that I had, all of a sudden ends in 4 days? I started having a breakdown, man. Like 2 days before graduation, I was lost. I felt numb. Even graduation day, I was numb. And it wasn't because I'm like, it hasn't hit me yet that I'm graduating. It hit me that I don't have a goal. Now what? What's next? Like, what's next? Like, for the last 5 years, I've been on this goal that I'm going to graduate and do this police academy thing because it's the hardest in the whole nation, and I need to prepare for it physically because that's all you hear. And then I did it. I graduated from this police academy. And now, all of a sudden, I'm a police officer. And then I'm like, wait a minute. The goal I had since high school, it happened. Now what? My brain was like, oh, wait, now what are you doing? What's the purpose of life? Like, what are you doing? What are you working for now? And I didn't know. And I had a huge breakdown. I was like, wait, do I even want to do this? Is this even something I want to do? Is law enforcement a thing? Like, I didn't even know if I wanted to do this. Like now I'm here, and I was like, I wasn't confident in myself. I lost confidence. I felt numb. I didn't know what to feel. And I was like, man, wait. I don't know what I'm feeling. I've never felt this breakdown. I had a huge breakdown. Talk with my parents, talk with my friends. And I came to the conclusion that I don't have a goal. I didn't have a goal anymore. Because for the last 5 years, I've been working to this goal, and then I finally did it. I accomplished it. And then it's done. And so my brain is kind of like trying to grab the next goal, but there is no next goal. So I'm just kind of in panic mode because I don't know what to do. Because for the last freaking 32 weeks and more, and before college and everything, I'm on the go. I'm going. Like, let's go. What's next? And now I'm like, I'm done. Like, what you wanted was to be a police officer. There you go. Now you're a police officer. Oh, shit. What do I do now? What's my goal? And so I felt like that for a little bit. For a couple of days, I was kind of numb. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to feel. I didn't feel anything. I went to work next day. I hit patrol the next day after graduation. I didn't know what I was numb. I didn't know what to feel. I did my job very well, but I felt numb mentally. And so I started realizing I don't have a purpose. What's my goal? I started talking to other officers. I started talking to my friends who are officers. And I was like, they're like, bro, you got what's next? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's next. And so I started realizing I needed a purpose again. I needed a new purpose. And so that's it. I make a plan. I made a plan again. Where do I want to be in 5 years? What do I want to accomplish within those 5 years? I needed another ultimate goal. What's my plan of action? I needed a plan of action of how I'm going to get this goal. And I finally have it again. I lost purpose in everything, man. Like, I'm serious. Like, this podcast thing, for a little bit, I didn't even want to do it anymore. I was like, man, I don't want to do this. I was like, whatever. Yeah, I'm putting it off. I'll get to it eventually. I didn't have a purpose. I don't want to do anything. I wanted to go home and sleep. It was horrible feeling. But then I started being like, nah, man, what's my plan of action? What am I doing with my life? Where do I got to be? I realized my plan. This is what I want. This is what I want to be in the next 5 years. Okay, what do I need for that? Well, let's make a plan. Let's start talking about what do I need to do to get to there. And so I started talking to other officers about, and I say officers, and I mean that because that's where I'm at right now. Like, I mean, that's my career. But you put this in any perspective. I mean, you don't know where you want to be, bro, you're going to feel numb. Like, if you don't have a job, if you're trying to get a job, if you're trying to get your career, if you don't know what your career wants to be, if you don't know what you want to be when you grow up and you're already grown up, that's a fucking shitty feeling, man. Being grown up and not knowing what you want to be when you grow up. But you got to have a plan of action. So you start talking to friends, you start talking to other people, and you start saying, hey, man, look, and this is any job. Like, if you breathe, sleep, drink, your job, you're going to get tired of that job. You got to have a side hustle. You got to have a side business. You got to have a hobby. You got to distract your mind from the everyday, because if you don't, bro, work is going to get the best of you. School is going to get the best of you, whatever it is. You got to have a side. You got to have something that just takes your mind off of everything. And if it's exercising, great, exercise. I've said this before on previous episodes. But what I'm talking about right now is career-wise. If you don't know where you want to work, if you don't know what your career wants to be, man, just sit down and think. What do you like doing? What do you want to do? I was asked the other day, if you didn't have to worry about money, if someone told you, hey, I'll take care of you financially, you can do whatever you want. Like, work on whatever you want to do. Like, what would you work on? And like, let's say someone's like, hey, I will financially support you. All you have to do is choose something to do. Like, what would you focus on? And I was like, man, my podcast. And I was like, man, I love this thing. Like, this podcast, it relaxes me. It gets my mind off something. I can talk to other people, enjoy life. And that's the biggest thing, man. Like, enjoy life. Enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy that side business. Enjoy that side hustle. And that side hustle, the goal of the side hustle, yeah, it's to make a little extra money. But let me tell you something. It's that side hustle where eventually it becomes your main hustle. And it starts off as a side hustle because you like doing it. But then it becomes good. And then you actually start making money off of it. And then it grows bigger. And then you become an empire. And then you're making money. And then you quit your regular job. Because your regular job is what brings the income in. And I'm not saying do something like that you hate just for the money. But, I mean, let's be honest. Like, people hate their jobs. Why are they doing it? Because it pays well. There's a lot of people like that. So start off that side hustle. Start off that side business. Invest your money. Invest into something crazy, but that you like and that you know. And if you don't know it, read up on it. Start off somewhere. I don't know. You got to sit down and just think, what do I want to do? What do I like doing? And if you don't have a job now and you're kind of like in that step one phase, like, I don't know what I want. You just got to sit down and think, man. What do you want to do? What do you want to do with your life? What do you want? What do you like doing? You like building stuff? You like building furniture? You like messing carpentry? You like electricity? You like music? I don't know. Do what your passion is. Don't worry about what other people think. Worry about what you like to do. And then start something on it. You'll be surprised how many people will support you. All my friends, all my close friends, they know I support them. They know that whatever they do, I will back them 100%, and just like they back me. And so, I'm very fortunate to have a close group of friends, great supportive family. But you got to surround yourself with those people too, man. If all the people who you hang around with are negative towards you, bro, you got to get out of them. You got to get out. You got to get people to support you. And if you got to be a lone wolf for a little bit, you be a lone wolf for a little bit. You be by yourself. And it's crazy, man. I really, like I said, I had a bad mental state, as to what do I do now? And so I had to make a plan, man. I recently got my own place. I've been focusing on that, getting my mind off of that, getting inspired and motivated to start back up, to do new things, to start this podcast back up because I really enjoyed it. And I'm back at it. And like I said before, it's not about the money, man. I don't even make money on this. It is about passion. It is about what I like to do. That side hustle. Got to get that side hustle, that side business. And is this a business? No, but hey, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds, man. And so what's next? Well, let me tell you something. I got some great plans coming up. Like I said, I recently got my own place, which is awesome. Got a new place to do the podcast. So we'll be seeing a little bit of that going on and some new locations and some new people on this show. I have a great list of people who are going to be on this podcast coming soon, and it's just a matter of time. And, fuck COVID. That's what I say. As soon as this COVID ends, man, things are going to be good, and life is good, and I hope your life is good because life is great. And if you don't think life is great right now, man, there's something wrong. Put yourself into a new light. Put yourself into a new situation, into something, a new location, a new job, a new group of friends. You'd be surprised. New, breath of air, somewhere different. It'd be great, man. And I guarantee you life will get better. All you got to do is try. You got to try. No one's going to give it to you. You got to go out there and get it. And that's just how it is. No one's going to do it but you. No one is going to do it but you. Ladies and gents, thank you so much for listening to Cigar Night. I'm so happy to be back. This is Rick Guzman with Cigar Night, and we will see you later. And more episodes to come soon. Very excited to be back. Love you all. Stay classy. See you guys.